Welcome back viewers. This session deals with the composition of growth medium which is necessary for the plant tissue culture. The growth and morphogenesis of plant tissue is largely governed by the composition of nutrient medium. The nutrients which are required for the development of plant tissue are similar to that of whole plant. In practice, most of the nutrients which are necessary for plant tissue growth are vary with respect to the particular species. For example, some tissues shows better response on solid medium and others prefer liquid medium. Hence, considerable progress has been made on the development of composition of media which influences growth of the plant tissue. In this session, I will be discussing various number of media which have been devised for specific tissues and organs. In 1898, German plant physiologist Gottlieb Haberland have started plant tissue culture experiments for the first time. He used palisade parenchyma cells for the growth of plant by using Knobs solution, which is a very simplest type of media which he used, and that media contain only inorganic nutrients and carbon source. Next media which was used by scientists is White's media. This media is preferred to the culturing of roots. Later, MS and LS media was developed. Murashis and Skoog and Linsmeyer and Skoog, these were the scientists who have started using some nutrients which are required for the organogenesis and regeneration of plant. For cell suspension culture and callus culture, they used B5 media. Later, in cereal anther culture was developed in N6 media, and anther culture was carried out by using niche and niche media. Prior to explain different components necessary for the formation of various media, let us study some terms. Like, first one is differentiation. These are the terms which were expressed by the plant tissue. Hence, we will study these first and later I will explain about composition of different media. First one is differentiation. Let me define this. Cells which are derived from root apical meristem and shoot apical meristem undergo maturation and perform specific function. This is called as differentiation. This is expressed by each and every cell. Then, what is dedifferentiation? Dedifferentiation is the term which is expressed by each cells, that is organized cells, that is highly organized cells can regain the capacity to divide mitotically under certain conditions and form immature cells. Maturity to immaturity, that is dedifferentiation. Next term is redifferentiation, that is nothing but unorganized tissue to highly organized tissues. Here the callus tissue undergo redifferentiation and form whole plant. Next term is organogenesis. The name itself says development of organs like roots, shoots and leaves, flowers, etc. either directly from an explant or from the callus tissue. These are some of the terminologies which must be studied before studying the composition of media. Let me explain the recipe of nutrient medium. It contains macronutrients and micronutrients. Why they called as macro and micro? Because the elements which are used in higher concentration, they are called as macronutrients, that is greater than 0.5 millimolar per liter, and micronutrients which are used less than 0.05 millimolar per liter. Why I have used mole here? This is because according to the recommendation of the International Association for Plant Physiology, we must use moles, millimolar per liter for the macronutrients and micromolar per liter for the micronutrients like vitamins, amino acids, etc. Why we have to use mole values only? Because the number of molecules per mole is constant. Hence we have to use mole values for the expression of these macro and micronutrients. Which all macronutrients are used in the media preparation? Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium and sulfur. These are the 6 macronutrients which are used in the media preparation. What all micronutrients are used? Iron, manganese, zinc, boron and copper. When we use iron citrate or iron tartrate is used. If you dissolve these iron tartrate or citrate in water, they will not dissolve fully. They form sediment. But all the nutrients which are used for the media preparation must be dissolved properly. When we dissolve inorganic salts in the media or in the water, they undergo dissociation and ionization and form uniform solution in the water. But the contribution of some ions will be by 2 or more different elements. For example, NO3 is contributed by NH4NO3 and also KNO3. If both the elements if you add, then the concentration of NO3 is automatically increases. Hence you have to keep it in mind that the concentration which you are using, those must be proper. When we use iron citrate or iron tartrate, it will not be dissolved in the water and it forms a sediment. But this sediment formation is not recommended for the media preparation. Hence we have to use chelated form of iron. That chelated form is nothing but we have to add chelating agents like EDTA. The next important component which is added to the media is carbon and energy source. When we inoculate plant tissue on synthetic media, then they lose autotrophic nature. Hence, they are unable to produce carbon and energy source in their cells. Hence, we have to add externally carbon source to the media for better growth of plant. Hence, the most preferred carbon source is sucrose. Glucose also play a vital role and it gives good growth, but sucrose is most preferable carbon source which is required by almost all the plant tissues. When we add sucrose, it undergoes hydrolysis when we autoclave the media, and sucrose is converted into glucose and fructose. Glucose is directly used by the plants. Hence, the autoclaved sucrose must be added instead of adding filter sterilized sucrose. Next, organic supplements which are necessary for the growth of the plant. One by one we will see. First one is vitamins. These are endogenously produced inside the plant tissue. When we inoculate the plant tissue or organ on the nutrient medium, the plants are able to produce all the organic supplements, but they are produced by plant cells in suboptimal level. I mean, they are not sufficient for the whole plant growth. Hence, externally you must add organic supplements to the medium which will influence the better growth of the plant. Which all vitamins you have to add into the medium? Thiamine, nicotinic acid, pyridoxine, calcium pantothenate and myoinositol. These are the some of the vitamins you must add into the nutrient medium. What is the concentration of these vitamins to be added into the media? That is 0.1 to 10 mg per liter. This much concentration you have to add into the media. The another prime requirement for the media preparation is amino acids. Even though they can be produced in the plant tissue, but exogenously you have to add amino acids for the culturing of protoplast, and some of the tissues are unable to synthesize these amino acids in the synthetic media. Hence, you have to add exogenously to the medium. Which all amino acids you must add? Casein hydrolysate, the concentration must be 0.05 to 0.1%. Why I have written here ranges? Because different tissues require different concentration of these amino acids. Hence, casein hydrolysate must be added 0.05 to 0.1% depending upon the species and tissues which you are using, and L-glutamine 8 millimolar per liter, L-aspargine 100 millimolar per liter, L-arginine and L-cysteine 10 millimolar per liter, and L-glycine must be added 2 millimolar per liter. When you are adding amino acids, you must not add single amino acid to the media, because single amino acid may hinder the plant growth. Hence, you must add in the mixture. Later, one more organic supplements is natural one, that is casein hydrolysate, coconut milk, yeast and malt extract, ground banana, orange juice and tomato juice. These are the some of the organic supplements which must be provided into the medium. How you are removing coconut milk from the coconut? Actually, 3 holes we can see in the coconut. When you open all the outer part, you can see 3 holes. There you must make a hole and you have to insert sterilized pipette and you have to suck by using pipette holder. Then that sterilized coconut milk must be added into the medium, and yeast and malt extract can be used, and ground banana, orange juice and tomato juice also can be added into the medium. But using of these natural supplements are not recommended because they may cause contamination. Next one important component is activated charcoal. Activated charcoal is added into the medium to absorb some of the toxic chemicals which is produced by the plant during secondary metabolism. During secondary metabolite production, some of the plant species produce toxin substances like phenols. Those phenols are absorbed by the activated charcoal, and this activated charcoal must be added in the concentration of 0.5 to 3%. How you have to add this activated charcoal? You must wash activated charcoal with acid. Acid wash you have to do, and later you must dry that activated charcoal, and that sterilized activated charcoal can be added into the medium. Next important component is antibiotics. Usually antibiotics are not added into the medium because they may inhibit the cell growth. But in some cases, if the plants are infected by any of the microbes, then to remove those microbes we have to add antibiotics like streptomycin or kanamycin at low concentration effectively controls the infection. Next, the prime requirement for the media preparation is adding of gelling agents. These agents will solidify the medium. Usually agar is used to solidify the medium. Agar is extracted from the seaweeds. When we add agar, the agar will not mix with any of the other ingredients which are present in the medium, and it will not be used by the plant enzyme. Hence, this is the advantage of adding agar into the nutrient medium. It will solidify the media, hence that solidification will influences the plant tissue culture growth. Next, the most important factor is pH. pH will give you the better solidification of the media. When we maintain the proper pH, then the solidification will be proper. If pH is increased, then you will get hardened media. If pH is decreased, then you will get very softened media. Hence, proper or optimal pH must be maintained while preparing media. Next one is growth regulators. These are most important component which must be added into the medium. Let us discuss use of growth regulators in plant tissue culture. They play vital role in plant tissue culture media because they are essential for tropism, elongation and apical dominance. The example for growth regulators are auxins, cytokinins, abscisic acid and gibberellins and ethylene. Auxins and cytokinins are most important for the organogenesis. Introduction of growth regulators began with Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin. Later, auxin was isolated by the Dutch biologist Frits Oom Wendt. In 1920s, their role in plant growth was established. Let me explain the experiment which was conducted by Charles Darwin and his son. They observed the growth of coleoptiles of canary grass towards the light source, that is called as phototropism. They have conducted different series of experiments and then they concluded the presence of a transmittable substance that influences the growth of canary grass towards the light. That transmittable substance was what we know as auxin, which was isolated later by F.W. Wendt. Later, many scientists have discovered and isolated different plant growth regulators. Gibberellins or gibberellic acid was formerly found in uninfected rice seedlings and was reported by E. Kurosawa and F. Skoog and Miller. Later, Miller discovered another growth promoting substance named as kinetin, which is now called as cytokinin. Let us study the role of each growth regulators on growth and development of plants. What do auxin do on plant development? It promotes cell division. Cell division is influenced by the adding of auxins and it also facilitates root development in shoot cuttings. Actually, the auxins are added into the medium to influence rooting. Hence, during rooting medium, when you will subculture the plantlets to the rooting medium, we must add more concentration of auxin and less concentration of cytokinin. It also influences natural abscission of fruits, flowers and leaves. These auxins assist flowering and regulate xylem differentiation. Which are the examples for these auxins? Indole 3-acetic acid and indole butyric acid are extracted from the natural plant sources. I mean, plants produce naturally indole 3-acetic acid and indole butyric acid. Naphthalene acetic acid and 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid are synthetic sources. They are produced synthetically. Some other auxins are also used for the preparation of media. They are 4-chlorophenoxyacetic acid, para-chlorophenoxyacetic acid, 2,4,5-trichlorophenoxyacetic acid and 2-methyl-4-chlorophenoxyacetic acid. These are the some significant auxins which are more effective in plant cell culture. Auxins are usually dissolved in ethanol or dilute NaOH. You have to add auxins into the medium. Before that, you must dissolve those auxins in ethanol or dilute NaOH solution. After dissolving, you have to add before adding other growth regulators. Let us see some of the structures of auxins. This is the structure of indole 3 acetic acid, which is produced in the plant sources, and some other auxins like 2-NAA, naphthalene acetic acid, and 2,4-dichlorophenoxy acetic acid. Another obligatory hormone for media preparation is cytokinin. What do cytokinins do for growth of the plant? It facilitates adventitious and lateral shoot growth, and it breaks seed dormancy. Seed dormancy is the resting period. Seeds undergo resting period and they don't perform any of the metabolic activities at this stage. Hence, when you add cytokinins to the medium, then it will break the resting period and it will allow plants to grow without any hindrance. It influences cell division and apical dominance. Both auxins and cytokinins will influences cell division and apical dominance, but auxins play a vital role in root formation and cytokinins play major role in shoot formation. It also play key role in keeping flowers fresh for long time. When you add cytokinins to the plants, the flower which will form in the plant will be fresh for long time. Hence, this is the most widely used hormone in the plant tissue culture techniques, and it also promotes the development of shoots and roots along with auxin depending on the ratio. As I have already said you, cytokinin concentration must be more when shoot induction is there, and auxin concentration must be more when root induction is there. What are the examples of cytokinins? 6-benzyl aminopurine, 6-benzyl adenine, gyatin, kinetin, etc. These are some of the examples for cytokinins. This picture illustrates some of the structures of cytokinin. The another hormone which is added into the medium is gibberellin. What do gibberellins do? Usually gibberellins are added into the medium to enhance the length of the plant. The first gibberellin to be discovered was gibberellic acid, and the main function of gibberellin is to enhance the height of the plant, and the another vital role of gibberellin is it delays the senescence. Senescence is the programmed cell death, and the gibberellins, when you add gibberellins, it delays or it will stops the senescence for some time. Later the programmed cell death will occur, and it also facilitates elongation and expansion of roots and leaves, promotes elongation of stem, and it increases the crop yield. Usually the sugarcane plants, when you add gibberellins, the length of the sugarcane plant will be increased. And the example for gibberellins are GA1, GA2 and GA3. This is the structure of gibberellin. One more hormone called as abscisic acid, which is not much used in plant tissue culture media, but some species you have to add abscisic acid, and it also promotes embryo formation. It is actually a growth inhibitor. Hence, usually auxins and cytokinins are most widely used hormones, and those are most accepted by almost all the plant species. But abscisic acid is called as growth inhibitor. It will not influence growth, but it stimulates closing of stomata in the epidermis. It promotes maturation and development of seeds. The one more function of abscisic acid is inhibits plant metabolism and seed germination. See, as I have already said you that abscisic acid is not much used plant hormone because it inhibits plant metabolism and seed germination, and it regulates abscission and dormancy. The plant hormones are plant regulators. Why we have to add those into the medium? Those must influence the growth and development of plant. But this abscisic acid regulate abscission and dormancy period. But dormancy period must not happen in the plants. That's why this is not added into the medium. But this abscisic acid can be used as a spraying agents to promote dropping of fruits. To drop the fruits, you can use abscisic acid and you will get the fruits. It is also known as stress hormone. This is the structure of abscisic acid. One more important hormone is ethylene. It is synthesized by most of the organs, including ripening fruits and aging tissues, which promotes flowering in the mango trees and breaks the dormancy of seeds and buds. One more function of ethylene is it facilitates senescence and abscission of flowers and leaves. It promotes sprouting of potato tubers and also stimulates the ripening of fruits. This is the structure of ethylene. Till now we have learnt about the different nutrients which are required for the plant tissue culture medium and what is the role of growth regulators that we have discussed. Now we will study what macronutrients or which of the macronutrients are required for White's media preparation, MS media preparation, niche media preparation, B5 media preparation and N6 media preparation. These are the macronutrients: MgSO4, KH2PO4, NaH2PO4, KNO3, NH4NO3, CaCl2 and NH42SO4. These are some of the macronutrients which are used in different media. In White's media, these are the concentrations used, and in Murashi's and Skoob media, these are the concentrations. B5 media, these, N6, this concentration, niche media, this is the concentration. Another important components called as micronutrients, which we have already discussed in the previous slides. These are the micronutrients which we have to add into the different media. They require very less amount, but they play prime importance in the media preparation. H3BO3, MnSO4, MnSO4, 4H2O and H2O, ZnSO4, Na2, MO, O4, CuSO4, COCl2 and potassium iodide, FeSO4, Na2, EDTA and sucrose. These are the micronutrients, and the concentration of these all micronutrients in White's media, these are the concentrations. In MS media, more concentration is required, B5, N6 and niche media. We have already studied which all organic supplements we have to add into the media preparation, but here how much thiamine you have to add in White's media, how much pyridoxine you have to add in MS, B5, N6 and niche media, that is there here, and other elements like glycine, folic acid, biotin, these must be added into the media, but B5 and N6 media you must not add these other supplements. Only White's media, MS media and niche media you must add these. And what is the pH which is required for the different media? For White's media 5.8, MS media 5.8 and B5 media 5.5, N6 5.8, niche 5.8. Usually 5 to 7 pH is used, but most preferably used pH is 5.8 because MS media is used most widely for almost all the plant tissues. These are some references which I have used. Thank you.